Did you know that we're about to get a new Fallout game? Because yes, in just a few months we're going to be getting one of Fallout's largest mods ever. But what may come as a surprise to many of you is this is not the only gigantic mod project on the way. As just yesterday, we also got to see that modders are hard at work recreating old Fallout games as well, as we just got a brand new trailer for The Pitt. That same team that brought us the Point Lookout remake is back again. The Capital Wasteland project, aka the Fallout 3 remake mod team, is working to remake The Pitt as well. And to be clear, this is a remake of the entire Pitt DLC from Fallout 3, hours of new content, and they've made some pretty notable progress already. We just got a 1 minute long teaser and it looks absolutely amazing, a gigantic upgrade compared to how the Pitt looked in Fallout 3, but this is all connected to something even more special, as in less than 1 week from right now, on February 2nd and 3rd is C3, otherwise known as Community Creations Con. Several DLC-sized mods for Fallout 4, New Vegas, and even Skyrim are going to be here showcasing their progress. There's going to be a major presentation around the Pitt and even a 2-hour presentation from Fallout London. And some previous developers that worked at Bethesda will even be speaking here. I'll have links down below for any of you interested, and if you enjoy Bethesda modding even remotely, you should definitely tune into this one. And hey, if you want to learn more about all of that, get subscribed because I'll definitely be covering what is shown. But what I really want to focus on today is how we're getting a new Fallout game. Fallout London is slated to release on April 24th, 2024, and this is shaping up to be a complete new game-sized experience for Fallout 4. One of the features that gets me most excited for this project is weapons, as with Fallout London, this is an even larger consideration than most mods. Like, yeah, of course, you want your new game-sized mod to feature custom weapons, but with Fallout London, it's also in London. We are crossing the Atlantic for the first time ever in Fallout, so the team behind this one is described wanting to have a largely distinct set of weapons available. They recently showed off the Viper Mark I. This is a real-world prototype weapon that was intended to be used as a one-handed machine pistol by those on motorcycles. So to accommodate this, it was built as a prototype bullpup weapon, and some of this uniqueness will carry over into Fallout London. The default variant will only be able to be hip-fired without a proper aim-down sights. Fallout 3 fans rejoice. But there's also going to be another more conventional variant included with the mod, and if you are looking for more convention, they're also adding in things like the Webley 1913, and you could get a familiar Luger with a ton of different customization options if you want. You could actually download both of those mods right now, but also some weapons that are far more powerful. We're going to have the iconic Lewis gun designed just for Fallout London. This one came out just earlier this year, and it'll complement the already released Bren gun we got a couple of years ago, because yes, this Lewis gun has also released as a standalone mod you could download right now. And to me, this is the perfect example of how to make a Fallout 4 gun mod fun. Even as you just get this weapon, you'll have these unique pickup animations for the first time, and they're just really cool. And the Lewis gun has two hold styles. One, so it'll be a proper rifle right up to your shoulder, or alternatively as an LMG by your side, and each of these are reflected in your actual gameplay while using the weapon. And best of all, this has that iconic Lewis gun feature of the magazine spinning on top as you fire, with its Fallout 4 implementation having its own suite of energy-themed weapon mods. And the goal of a distinct world with unique weapons doesn't just apply to handheld options, as Fallout London will also ship with a fully animated post-apocalyptic trebuchet for attacking your neighbors. So thankfully Fallout London will continue that combo of both serious but also suitably over-the-top weapon options, and this will also extend to some of the throwable options, so you'll have things like mortars, grenades, and even mini nuke mousetraps, because of course you need that. And these are just a couple of the weapons I'm choosing to highlight. There of course are going to be way more included with the larger mod, including some cool returning features like unique uniques. So when you find a unique weapon in Fallout London, it'll actually have its own distinct skin and visual style compared to the typical variant. But one of the things I really liked about this mod thus far is how quirky so many of the weapons are. Many just feel odd or like they have their own unique identity, and they're adding quite a few of these, as right now the mod has 121 new weapons in total. And as they do this scroll past, notice how nearly all of these weapons are unique to London and not found in the Commonwealth. But even beyond just weapons, it's important for the world of London to feel distinct compared to the Commonwealth, and this is going to be an incredibly detailed world, including ladders. Ladders were brought into Fallout 4 a little while ago with a mod, but Fallout London is taking that mod and implementing it into the world space, so we're going to have naturally occurring and usable ladders all over. But of course, the world overall is going to be notable and distinct. London itself will have many of its iconic landmarks that have been recreated for this mod. You can visit places like Tower Bridge, which may or may not be filled with some enemies featuring a specific type of meat that they prefer, but also many of the other tourist hotspots. And the real guts of London will be here as well. The team recently showcased just how many distinct districts they have recreated for this, and I gotta say, this looks incredible. So often with DLC-sized mods, you see world space work first since it is one of the first things tackled. But with Fallout London, this just really looks like it is on a completely new level. We're seeing truly distinct environments that manage to not only capture their real-world counterparts and represent those areas, but they also feel appropriately post-apocalyptic. And when you see all of this, keep in mind that the size of Fallout London's world space is giant. They describe it as being the size of Fallout 4's Commonwealth and Far Harbor combined. I have a feeling that exploring post-apocalyptic London is going to be a real treat for us, and hey, you could even build settlements too. But some of these unique change-ups will apply in more personal ways to the player as well. Fallout London's going to use its own custom Pip-Boy, that known as the Attaboy. As of course, there's not going to be any vault tech overseas. To me, this looks great, but it'll also come with some very custom ways to open certain doors. 80s and 90s kids can rejoice. And since we are no longer using the Pip-Boy, the Attaboy will provide its own custom look for the UI, custom icons for quests, perks, and even traits, because yeah, those are a thing here too. And I think they just did a phenomenal job with this one. This new Attaboy character embodies the quirkiness and the cuteness of the Vault Boy while also looking completely distinct and unique. And even beyond just looking different, this will also come with its own set of unique features, like those quests where you have to search for a radio signal will actually have a zone marker for it now, so you can see the radius by which that signal is in. New things in the UI, like a fully functioning weapon wheel made out of a London Underground logo. Some quests will utilize a new unique timer system, but the Attaboy will also come with some attachment slots, and you'll even be able to find your very own torch so you could finally get proper directional flashlights. But what I think may be my favorite of these Londonized Fallout features is the Mysterious Stranger. As in Fallout London, instead of the Mysterious Stranger, you're going to have a Bond-esque helper who will appear if you take this perk. Although interestingly enough, one of the biggest changes we'll see in the world with Fallout London is when it comes to transportation. There's going to be a plethora of new ways to get around, ranging from functional bicycles to cabs you could take, and funny enough, those are probably the two simplest of the options, because you'll also spend some of your time boating. It almost looks like this may be tied to certain quests in the game, but beyond all of that, we of course have seen a very prominent coverage of the rideable metro with the London Underground, which is getting re-implemented to some degree with this mod. Both of these look amazing. Different types of transportation have always been a pain point for Fallout mods, but thus far, London's various implementations of these have looked phenomenal. And Fallout London's going to have a larger focus on RPG functionality compared to vanilla Fallout 4. Perks and traits are getting updated, so there's likely going to be some new perks here, as well as traits are added, but also things like skill checks will pop up in dialogue as a proper feature now, and there's going to be a ton of questing in Fallout London. The mod touts 55 main quests, 35 side quests, 25 faction quests, and even still 16 gang quests also. That is a ridiculous amount of questing content for a mod that you're going to download for free. These quests will range from odd jobs for some of the major players in London to deciding the fate of London overall. So you'll experience things like huge story-defining moments to even far more personalized stories around individuals. And even just this quest count alone makes Fallout London one of the biggest mods to ever come to a Fallout game. Not even just Fallout 4, Fallout games overall. Fallout London will also have 7 companions, including this adorable dog that you're going to be able to recruit, and a robot companion will be here. And all in, they describe how this adds up to over 90,000 lines of dialogue, making Fallout London larger than Skyrim and actually about 1.5 times as large as Skyrim. You have one full Skyrim and then another half of Skyrim all included here, and again, a free download. But the things we've heard the most about story-wise when it comes to Fallout London are the variety of powerful and unique factions that are going to make up this world. Camelot and the Knights of the Round Table are back. This faction works to bring the country back to a democracy and actively fights against the currently ruling gentry. And of course, they're going to be using some iconic knight armor as well as some sharp swords. These are truly the Knights of the Round Table, and this incredible looking armor is even one you could download right now for yourself. And from what we've seen of their HQ, it truly looks like you're going to be transported back to medieval times instead of 2237. But what is perhaps the scariest faction of all is the Isle of Dogs Syndicate. These are described as cold-hearted men whose thirst for greed will enable them to commit whatever act is necessary for more money, and currently they're the most powerful gang in London, which has allowed them to form a unique partnership with the ruling gentry for supplies. As a result, the Isle of Dogs Syndicate finds themselves incredibly well equipped and even with unique bonus of putting the Gentry's prisoners to work. The Vagabonds are another but weaker gang in Fallout London, and these guys may look familiar. They're modeled slightly off of the Peaky Blinders, so they're dressed sharp but could also handle themselves. As we find them, they're going to be losing ground to rivals, but have the unique benefit of community support for their gang, while many other gangs are just hated by their communities. But a cool aspect of Fallout London is, even just beyond the thematic differences between one faction to another, there's also going to be gameplay elements here. As we hear, starting with the Vagabonds will lead to smuggling and heisting quests being available to us. And the Vagabonds' outfits also just look amazing. They have their own custom set of clothing, and I feel like it has this mesh of both dapperness with survivability in the waist. The fifth column are a more mysterious faction who have a fervent leader with Eve and her bionic arm. This group also hates the ruling gentry, but perhaps with a bit of a different method of dealing with them. This is a more violent group, and principally they're interested in creating a new world order. It seems like they're going to enact some very interesting strategies to getting to that point. In the backgrounds of their scenes, we can see a few posters, basically propaganda posters for the faction, and this is going to be a genuine faction of the mod. Various factions will hang up posters as propaganda, and we've seen in some past features that there's going to be a wide array of pieces of these. The Gentry, of course, are going to be a major faction in the wealthy ruling class of London. They've managed to maintain their dignified appearances by enacting a royal tax on the people of London, who they, of course, keep securely outside their Westminster walls. And as a result of all of that, they've created several very powerful enemies. But the Tommies are there to protect them. The Tommies are the military force of the Gentry, and they're going to be well equipped and have powerful equipment for waging war if needed. Although the most elusive group in all of Fallout London is likely to be Angel. This is an all-powerful, technologically advanced faction that some don't even think exists. We honestly don't know much about what this faction entails, or really what our involvement with them will be, but it seems like they have some pre-war ties and perhaps were even involved in the creation of the Attaboy. So all in all, Fallout London is shaping up to be something truly spectacular and special. We're just a couple of months away from being able to experience more and just a couple days away from seeing a ton more. But if you're interested in some DLC size mods you could download for Fallout 4 right now, check out this video where I show you the top 10 mods to come to Fallout 4 in all of 2023.